Hey everyone, I'm Jessi Nealon. Welcome back to my channel. I'm doing a series called Jessi's Mailbag where I do a Q&A and you can submit any question, any topic that you would like to hear me talk about. Personal, body image related, professional, literally anything using the link in my caption. And today I'm answering a question about self-expression. So the person asked a little bit to talk about my own version of self-expression and also to just kind of be able to share some light around the importance of self-expression and how that shows up in a body image space. So I want to start by saying self-expression is extremely important to me. It is extremely important to all of us, and you cannot thrive without self-expression, which is to say, like, you have deep human needs to be seen and known, and you can't be seen and known if you don't express who you really are. Therefore, other people don't get the opportunity to see and know you. So self-expression is huge. And when it comes to body image, like, so much of how we express ourselves in the world is how we look. It's how we show up, dress ourselves, move, talk. Like, it's how we show up. And there is a lot you can do to express yourself visually. I would say that there's a lot we can do that feels really good to express ourselves visually, and that gets totally corrupted when it's like body image issues start to take over. Because when you're trying to look a certain way to fit a conventional norm or ideal, you're no longer trying to look a certain way to express yourself. They're pretty much like one or the other. So with that in mind, if you think that body image issues have basically taken over for you, I would highly encourage you to start getting really curious about what it would look like for you to express your truth visually. And maybe that means like something really subtle. I don't know, you chop your hair. You start wearing dresses instead of pants. I don't know, you start wearing colors instead of black. Maybe it's something subtle. Maybe it's something huge though. Maybe you want to change your gender expression entirely. And you start to realize, wow, I've been trying to fit a very particular social ideal here. Doesn't actually feel like me. My truth would be expressing something else completely. Sometimes when we really talk about self-expression, we're talking about like self-affirmation, and it's huge. And how we look is just one element of how we do that. So it's powerful stuff. I get super excited when it comes to self-expression conversations because personally, I love expressing myself visually. I love expressing myself and how I show up in the world. I've always loved clothes, and it's funny because when I was younger, like, I got really confused and thought I loved fashion because fashion was the way that I saw people loving clothes. It's the way that I saw people showing up in a space to play with presentation. So clothes and makeup were beauty and fashion industries, right? So I like went there. I was like, okay, great. I guess I care about looking hot and being fashionable. But that's not really true. That's not really my truth. That was a way that I could show up in that space. But what I love is self-expression visually. I love to put together an outfit that feels like me that day. I love to wear, well, I don't wear much makeup now, but I used to love to wear makeup that expressed my mood, my gender identity that day, my power. The day that I got my, I can't remember, my IUD replaced or something, it was some horribly painful thing I had to do. I wore like black lipstick and I dressed super tough because that's what I wanted to like embody that day. It's like, I am powerful, I can do this. I love using visual presentation as a way of doing that. It's completely outside of beauty ideals though. It has nothing to do with whether or not I looked hot when I got my IUD taken out. It had everything to do with, did I feel powerful? There's so much interesting research around like how we signal stuff to ourselves and how we signal stuff to others and how they read it. And like, you just can't make other people know who you are. I mean, you can try, and sometimes they'll guess right based on what they're seeing. Like, if you feel really feminine, you might want to wear pastel colors and skirts and dresses and wear your hair long and, have kind of like a very feminine look, right? And then maybe people will treat you how you want to be treated because they'll read what they're seeing and be like, got it, you're a girly girl, I'm gonna treat you like a girly girl, and it'll just be affirming, it'll be wonderful. Sometimes that works, but sometimes it doesn't work, you know? Like sometimes you just think pastels look hot on you even though you're not a girly girl, or sometimes wearing skirts and dresses has nothing to do with feeling like a girly girl. And so you dress in a way that feels expressive of yourself to you, and then the world reads it wrong, you know? Or maybe they read it, they're like, in your mind, you're like, hell yeah, I look like femme fatale, black leather, I'm like rocking it, I'm so powerful. And then someone looks at you and they're like, oh, because you are really tall, or because you, I don't know, have large breasts or no breasts, because you are fat, because whatever. They look at you and they read it differently. And then they completely misunderstand, misidentify, you know, miscategorize you. And it feels kind of terrible. So there are times that you cannot express what you want to other people and have them pick up on it properly. You can't guarantee that they're going to read you the way you want to be read. And so, frankly, I'm not even thinking that's a particularly great way of going about self-expression. Oh, I want people to understand this thing about me. Like, it can inform what you want for sure, but I'm really suspicious of its efficacy. I just don't think most people are going to read it right. So instead of that, I like to think of it as like signaling things to ourselves. My self-expression visually is a conversation with myself and the world. So yes, I would prefer to be read accurately. Like when I'm feeling really masculine and boyish, I wear more masculine and boyish outfits so that the world affirms me being more masculine and boyish. It feels good. It's imperfect, but good, you know? If I'm feeling really femme, I wear things that are femme. You know, it's like there's a conversation with the world happening, absolutely. But more importantly, that conversation is to myself. I affirm myself when I wear it so that no matter what people read, no matter how I get treated that day, I told myself that I was valid by wearing what I wanted to wear that felt like an expression or felt like what I wanted to embody that day. I told myself, you are valid. This part of you is valid. I see you. It's super self-affirming. And, you know, we can think of ways where like, when you get into the habit of putting on your sneakers and working out right after. It's like you never wear your sneakers except for when you go for a run, let's say. Then putting on your sneakers will start to shift your mood into like clicking over into, I'm in the mood to go for a run. So you get to signal things to yourself that are a little bit of like pushing yourself where you want to go, encouraging yourself to be in a certain energy or mood for things. That is also powerful, right? Like I might not be feeling particularly powerful on a day that I put on black lipstick and all this like tough stuff. But once I do it and I see it and I feel it on me, I might be suddenly feeling more powerful. So that's not like an affirmation of, yes, your expression today is about how you feel and who you are. It's like, it's about how you want to be and how you want to feel. And that's amazing because a lot of times it really works. So sometimes my self-expression is about who I am already and what I want to express. Sometimes it's about who I want to be and what I want to express in that way. And all of it is valid because all of it is a conversation with myself that is affirming, that is validating. I give myself the affirmation of validation that a lot of people seek externally by showing up visually in a space to play and express myself. Does that make sense? Now, I will say that when it comes to things like body image, beauty ideals, getting all mixed up in it, self-objectification, it can be really difficult to know the difference. I have clients who ask me all the time, like, how can I tell how I want to express myself? Because I feel like I just want to express myself to look pretty all the time. Or I want to express myself so that people think I'm thin, you know? Like, they are too wrapped up in the beauty ideal self-objectification world to be able to even just see what self-expression would be for them. And so to these people, I'm always like, yeah, there is no answer. I can't tell you how you feel and how you want to express yourself. I have no idea. But what I can tell you is that there is a likelihood that that stuff is corrupting your genuine desire to express yourself a certain way. And that as you dismantle that and move towards body neutrality, it gets a lot easier. I will also say that with body neutrality, self-expression becomes way more fun, way more interesting. Like I love expressing myself now that I don't have to follow any rules about beauty or be worried about looking hot. Like it's so much more fun. I promise you, it is worth pursuing. just for the fun of getting dressed without worrying if something I want to wear is flattering or not. Like, it's so liberating to be able to express yourself outside the grid of objectification and beauty ideals. So, there's things like I have my hair really long right now. I shaved it like 5 years ago, and I actually really loved it short. I've always loved my hair short. I'd say this is probably like, I've had it maybe a little bit longer than this at some point in my life, but not by a lot. So it's getting to the longest it's ever been. And my goal is, at this point, we'll see how many years I have the patience to do this. My goal is like, I want it down to my butt. I want like mermaid hair. I want super long hair. I don't think that's probably going to happen, but that's sort of what I'm like thinking I want right now. And what's interesting is I don't feel particularly femme. So I read as woman because of a variety of factors, but one of them is my hair being long. And I know that it would actually really help my self-expression, or rather it would help the world see my identity better if I cut my hair short again. The thing is, I just think it's fun at the moment to daydream about like long flowing mermaid hair. It feels good. And so I'm just going with it because I don't really care if it necessarily communicates who I am to the world. It's more like everything is an experiment and it's all morally neutral, and I'm just doing something that seems kind of fun to me right now. And because I'm not too attached to what it means to other people, I get to just look at what it means to me. And to me, it doesn't mean, I'm a woman, I feel womanly. It means, I don't know, it means I've daydreamed about a sheet of hair down to my butt since I was like 5 and read some book where the protagonist had that, and now I want it. That's it. So with all of this in mind, body neutrality is a way of looking at this stuff with curiosity and like a clear and neutral vision instead of judgment and like meaning and significance and moral yeses and nos or goods and bads sort of attached to anything. So when you are looking at yourself and you get dressed and you are presenting yourself a certain way from a neutral lens, you can actually just be like, I don't know. What would that feel like to me? What would it feel like to me to wear this instead of that? Or to go outside my normal comfort zone and look this way instead of that way? Those are things you get to just be curious about and play with when you're coming at it from a neutral lens. When you're not coming at it from a neutral lens, like when you have self-objectification and body image stuff in your head, then it just becomes a pass-fail situation. It's very binary. It's like, does it look good? Does it look bad? Is it flattering? Is it not flattering? Very, very restrictive. Very boring. So that's my answer. Self-expression is so powerful. It's part of our human need for thriving. I highly recommend getting to play with it. I highly recommend doing the work required so that you actually can play with it through a neutral lens, because it's so much more fun that way. And if you're not into any of this and like visual stuff is just not how you express yourself, that's also totally fine. Because maybe you express yourself other ways that feel really nourishing to you in the world and you just don't have a connection to the visual element. And that is great too. So there's no right or wrong way to express yourself. I will say though, most people that I talk to don't give themselves permission to play in their self-expression space quite enough, because they feel like they have to follow certain rules. So I say, get curious about those rules, throw them out the window every once in a while, and just see what's there underneath that you would love to be expressing visually or otherwise. That's it. If you have any questions that you want me to answer in this series, Jessi's Mailbag Q&A series on YouTube, click the link, do the thing where you submit your submission, question, topic, whatever, and I will draw from that pool when I'm making these videos in the future. I would love to hear what you want to know. Feel free to ask anything, and I'll just ignore it if I don't feel like answering it, and that's it. Thank you for being here, and I'll catch you next time.